So Lara Croft, the Tomb Raider. Um, ugh, eh. No one seems to be really looking forward to this. Um, and of course the voice actress for Lara comes out. It simply just says that it'll be a more complicated version. What what kind of complication does there need to be? Lara Croft was never complicated. Why'd you have to go and make things so complicated? Um, according to series lead actor, voice actor Haley Atwell, protagonist Lara Croft's humanity will be a major narrative focus on of Netflix's Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft. So the last time we talked about Lara Croft, they were like, "Oh, well, we didn't want her to be the way she was because she last time when she first started, she was written by men." But then they're like, oh, but she's going to end up over the course of her story, she's going to become the person she was in the games because, like, they're trying to make all the timelines, put all the stories together into one timeline. So it's like she's going to end up as the same person that she was in the first games that were created by men. So it's like the Rings of Power thing. It's like, oh, there is no canon, and then it's also, oh, but we're closely following the Legendarium. It's like, okay, so you want her to be different because she was written by men before, but you're gonna put her on the path to where she eventually ends up becoming the same person she was back when she was written by men. Um, so sorry, just woke up. So, the latest voice to bring franchise protagonist Lara Croft to life. Atwell provided this insight into the animated series direction during a recent interview given at Games Radar. Bradley Russell. Speaking to how the series would tackle its main character, the former Marvel Cinematic Universe star director explained, Universe star explained, don't care. We're really keen on that we create a Lara that is recognizable and as resilient, witty, with physical prowess, and curious, but also all right. With prowess and curious, but also someone that has a bit more complicated is a bit more complicated than that. That it's not always driven by the big, bold brushstrokes of heroism. Knowing the fact that Tomb Raider: Legend of Lara Croft picks up sometimes after the events of 2018 Shadow of the Tomb Raider, that will then detail how the series version of the famous heroine will be much more realistic. We don't want realistic. Than her digital analog. It's to do with a sort of mirroring back to the cultural consciousness of how we, as audience members, want to see our heroes. There was nothing wrong with her the first time. What seems to be more of a trend is seeing what makes them tick. No, we just give us the way she was, okay? Rather than being impenetrably brilliant and unflappable, which is great to see, but not very human. As as audience members, develop more of an interest in wanting to see the humanity alongside these kinds of no one original characters. Then, as a creative, I want to be showing that and offering that up to the audience. She's this adventurer who goes on these Smith-fueled, perilous solo adventures, and she has this background where, although it's a huge privilege, there has been a cost. Lara's emotionally struggling with things, and in the series, you see that it basically picks up after the end of the games of the Survivor trilogy. She's emotionally at her lowest point, and she's been abandoning her friends to embark on these solo adventures. But one of these adventures actually leads her back to home, where she's having to confront who she is confront who she really is opposite her friends. For example, Lara might be driven by this belief that what she's doing is important and heroic or brave. That's not what who she was. That's not what she was about. She never wanted to be heroic and brave. She was a person who liked to raid tombs, to find rare artifacts and crap like that. The only reason she saved the world is because if she didn't, it would be an inconvenience to her. Because it's like, well, can't raid tombs if there's not a world. So, and again, they're saying that they're making her different because she was written by men originally, but they're also going to make her end up the same way because they're converging all the games into the single timeline. So she's going to eventually come up and become the way that the men originally wrote her. It's Roxas. Hello, Bubba. So it makes no sense. Oh, we hate men. We hate the fact that men created her, and blah, 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 blah. She's still going to end up the same way the men made her. But Lara Croft is not heroic, naturally heroic. She may do things that help people, but it's only to, benefit her in the end. And we're talking about original Lara Croft. We're talking about original, not whatever she became now, where she's freaking talking about her feelings and crying and that not that Lara Croft. The original Lara Croft. She's not heroic. But it might be her friends pointing out that she's also trying to probably run away from her feelings. She'd rather be jumping off cliffs and examining rare artifacts with evil spirits than she would be dealing with the fact that she really doesn't that she really doesn't like to be at a party. She gets anxiety. I think that's charming and endearing, and it gives me an opportunity as an actor to bring that particular quality to her, which may be different from when we've seen her before, but certainly in keeping with what we know her to be. Yeah, maybe with the new character. Original Lara Croft was not like this. Again, they're saying that this Lara Croft is eventually going to become what we see in the games that were written by men. So they're freaking all over the place with this crap. October 10th, which is yesterday. So, IGN gave it a 5. A 5. Which is a lot different than the normal 7 that they give. It's kind of like a safe safe thing for them. Like, oh well, it's not really good, but you can still watch it, so we give it a 7. You're right there, Roxas. Huh? You all right? He's like, yeah, I'm just licking myself, Grandpa. I'm just licking myself. No problem with me. Is there a problem with you? You're looking way too... He's laying on my lap. He's like hanging over. He's like this. Kind of like just a regular day. Like, oh, yeah. And he's like... It's casual, Roxas. Casual Friday. I mean, it's Friday, so... Casual Friday for casual Roxas. You right there, bub? Just don't want you falling off my legs like last time. What? Netflix's live action Pokemon still in the... Huh. But yeah. It, yeah. Everyone's been pointing out, it's like, this is not who Lara Croft is. This is never who she was. And like, every year or every game or something, it's just like they bastardize her character even more. She came from this, she went from like this really strong, heroic, not heroic, she's not heroic, this strong woman to like, so, and they've also been like de-aging her as well, even though she really wasn't that old in the originals. So, again, they're taking the timeline and like all the games and stuff and converging it into a timeline where she starts out as this young little whippersnapper uh to where she eventually becomes what we see in the original games. But they said that they didn't want her to be like that because she was written by men. But it makes no sense. When you don't have any kind of direction like that, it's going to be bad because that's no direction right there. Oh, we want her to be different than the way she was before in the first games because she was written by men. But this is it's we're putting all the games in a timeline, so she's gonna eventually become that. What? So yeah. Uh, the fact that it doesn't seem any like it has any real direction, the fact that IGN gives it a 5. These are people who shill for everyone. These are people who are like 7 or more. If he gets a 5, I'm just rubbing my pussy. Um, let's read the comments. uh, More complicated in the sense of high school drama, or more like colonization of the time-honored profession of rating stuff. Complicated because you hacks can't write a good story. The series will flop. It's clear their target audience is women. And looking at the physique of the character, it's for the insecure liberal Western woman. It's Larry Croft. God forbid a badass female look pretty rather than sporting a man jaw. Does this set off alarm bells for anyone else? Speaking of bells, hang on, Roxas. Come on, get up. Oh, speaking of alarms, 6:40. I'm sorry, Bubba. Grandpa's alarm went off, so it's been downfall for a long well, it's been a long time for Lara. The game's pretty much abandoned the whole tomb raiding side of things since they were rebooted. Yeah. 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 So the only people looking forward to it are the ones you would think are looking forward to it. Everyone else, any fan of Lara Croft is like, why? Why? And people can say, well, why does it matter? Why change your character so drastically? If it doesn't matter, then why defend it? Why fight to put things that aren't like a character at all into a game or a movie or a TV? If it doesn't matter. It only doesn't matter when people like us say something, but then it completely matters when you people say it. So why does it matter? Because they're taking they're taking what was already a strong, badass woman and trying to humanize her, while manifying her at the same time. To where, oh well, she's not going to be just raiding tombs anymore. She's going to be in search of ancient artifacts to study. No, she was greedy. She didn't want to study anything. She wanted to have cool shit in her house. That's what she wanted. She wanted cool old shit. But can't expect really anything more from these fucking people. They don't care. They don't care. Anyway. That's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.